when I started Car Obsession, where did you think it was going to go? Honestly.
I don't know if I want to answer it.
No, be honest. Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to episode 7 of Vlogdown. I almost forgot which number I'm on. As you can see, I've got a spare chair, and that's because Patsy is going to come in today. Come on Patsy, in you come. Try not to...
Excuse me, cats.
Walk on the cats.
Ruby wants to be in it.
You'd have to excuse the cats, because if we close the door, they're going to cry, and that would be mean. So, yeah, the cats may make a bit of noise and be a little bit of a distraction. So for that, I do apologise.
Which camera am I looking at, or do I have to kind of go cross-eyed for this?
Probably best to speak into this camera, and then that will be our secondary angle. So it's been quite some time since Patsy has been on the channel, and I wanted to get her involved in the Vlogdown series. So as you can tell by the title, really, Patsy's going to be reliving her best bits of the channel and talking through the best cars that you've had the great opportunity to be involved with. So Patsy has been a great help for the channel, both with support and, well, two types of support.
Sorry. Yeah.
Ray, come on.
One of our cats has just decided to photobomb the small camera. I think we should put that in. Oh, and now the other one's going to have a go.
Oh no. Yeah, so two types of support. Supporting me with filming, obviously that doesn't really happen that much now because of your health conditions, and also kind of emotional support.
Sorry, I'm watching the cats.
So yeah, so Patsy has been a fantastic asset to the channel, and I do thank you for your support. And also your financial support, because Patsy has put some of her money into fixing cars, but
a lot.
We'll gloss over that. Yeah, so I've been doing Car Obsession for 4 years now, and obviously Patsy's been with me throughout all of it. So Patsy, how have you found it?
Enjoyable, definitely enjoyable. I mean, I don't. Oh God, sorry, I'm laughing at the cats. I don't drive, so for me, it's kind of a different enjoyment I get from it, I think.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy kind of you telling me the future cars that you're getting. I really get an enjoyment out of when you're telling me that you've got a new brand of car coming. And I also get an enjoyment out of actually watching your completed videos, because for me, I'm not there as much now watching you film. A, because I'm a pain in the arse and I tend to make him take 2 times as long.
No, that's not true. If anything, when Patsy's with me, I'm actually a little bit quicker. Because
he knows when he gets a certain look that he needs to, hurry up.
Yeah, because when I film by myself, which I do the majority of the time now, I am a bit of a perfectionist. I do over film everything. So if I'm filming a segment where I'm talking about the boot, it's quite easy for me to do about anywhere between 5 or 10 different takes, even though quite often the first take is pretty much perfect. I think, oh well, no, I didn't quite like the way how I said this, or maybe I should have said that. So I do over film a lot when I film my reviews. So when Patsy's with me, she does kind of rein that in. But because Patsy can't spend a whole day with me out in the field filming anymore, because you just get too tired.
Well, I get tired even like during the day. I'm going for my afternoon nap at about 2 o'clock.
Yeah. So yeah, Patsy used to help a lot in the early days with filming, whereas nowadays I film, well, for quite a long time now, I filmed a lot of stuff by myself. But what we normally do is, and this is very great of Patsy to do this because you don't have to. What Patsy would do, she would jump on a train, I'll meet her, she'll help me film some bits of the video, and then she'll go home again. Well, I say she'll go home again, I would then, basically how we arrange it is, it's towards the end of the day, so Patsy would meet me, do the last bits, and then she comes home with me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, a very long-winded way of explaining it, I know.
Yeah, I was about to say rein it in. I've lost my trail of thought now, because I was halfway through a trail of thought and then...
But you was just saying how you saying that when you're with me filming, you're a pain in the arse, which you're not.
Yeah, so it's without sounding too rude, as probably most of your viewers know, you do waffle on, and that's not an insult. And when I'm with you, I probably sound really horrible when in my mannerisms and the way I do it, but it's the only way to kind of tell you shut up and move on. Because if I'm there, I probably allow you to do 3 takes at a max.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're there, you come home, and then one thing I wouldn't say it niggles me, but from an outsider's point of view, one thing that I notice is when you say do 5, 6, 7 takes of the same thing, and I'm watching them, sometimes I can't even see why you didn't use the first or second take.
Yeah, but speaking of moving things on, obviously, we want to speak more about the cars as opposed to the filming side of things, and we've been speaking for a bit anyway. So let's hurry things on. What have been the best cars that we've had?
Okay, so not all of them are actually going to be interesting. I think a few will shock you, but it's more when you say best cars. I will pick things that cars that most people think I'm going to pick. So the Mustang GT.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
The new Fiesta ST, the Focus ST.
Yeah, all great cars.
Yeah, and I think people are just going to assume I'm going to pick them. But for me, the best cars are sometimes the cars that have surprised me, that I thought I maybe wouldn't like.
Okay.
And obviously, it goes without a doubt when you have a Civic Type R, the FK8.
Yeah.
The cars that you've had from a brand that I like anyway, but I didn't think the more obtainable standard cars in their range was Audi.
Okay.
So when you had, I'm going to get the cars modelled up, but obviously when you had like the Q5, you had the not Q5, you had the Q3. No, what did you have?
Q2.
One of the Qs. We got there in the end. So the Q range, should we say?
Q2.
I promise I pay attention to what cars he's had. I'm just still half asleep, and I don't feel great. So, didn't you have the A1?
Yeah, I had the A1 kind of this. It was around this time last year.
So I was really excited when Aaron said he was getting some cars from Audi. I didn't expect things like the R8 or the RS range, but I've always liked Audis. I've always liked like the TT.
Yeah. And
those cars that you've had from Audi have, been some of my favourite. They may not have been the fastest or the most sporty, but they have been the ones I've enjoyed the most.
Okay.
And obviously Ford as well. One car that I've had a different type of enjoyment is all the little Suzuki range when you had the Jimny and the Ignis, just because they're so
characterful, quirky.
They're like having, it's going to sound odd, like a kitten or a puppy.
Yeah.
And they've got so much character, and there's got so much uniqueness, and you're watching the kind of character. Bless you. You're watching the kind of
when the cat sneezed.
Characters of the car come alive when you drive it. So people may think, oh, why have you picked an Ignis? Why have you picked a Jimny? If you've not been in one, it's hard to explain. They are not the most comfortable. They are not the best cars you've reviewed, but they are the most fun.
Yeah.
They've got character. When you get in, they make you kind of smile. But I would definitely say my top 3 cars, I think, would be...
Oh, top 3. Here we go.
In no particular order. Okay, maybe in a particular order. FK8 Civic Type R.
Yeah.
The top 3 sporty ones, sorry.
Okay.
FK8 Civic Type R. Ford Mustang GT in second.
Yeah.
And this will probably shock you, but the Audi TTS.
Really? That does shock me, because I
You thought I was going to pick a Ford.
Yes, but when we had the TTS, I was left quite cold by it. I found it quite numb. Thing is, it's too clinical. It's really good, but it feels more like a tool than a driving experience.
But this is coming from I'm doing this from a passenger's
perspective.
No,
of course.
Obviously, for you drive, so I'm sure people know by now. I can't legally drive for health reasons, and because I've got dodgy eyes. So for me, my ideas and reviews of the cars come from a passenger's perspective. So obviously your choices may be different.
Yeah.
Now for my top 3, should we say more standard cars, non-sporty cars. So I really loved the Audi A1.
Okay.
Just because it still had that feel of a slight sportiness to it, how it looked and how it felt as a passenger inside.
The ride was really firm in that though.
I was going to say, I love a firm ride, but people may... I think that's a different type of video people watch online. It's not YouTube, it's you. But anyway, yeah, I really love the A1. Again, this is going to sound really, really odd, and I'm going to get the name wrong. The SUV MG, the MG.
Which one, darling? I've had a few.
The MG. Oh my gosh.
The MG. Oh my gosh, I've not heard of that model.
The MG, is it ZSEV?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one surprised me. And I think just the value for money of that car, you can't really argue with it. No,
the thing is, MG, their cars aren't perfect, but when you look at the price tag and what you get included, especially as you get a 7-year warranty, you think, well, actually, you can't really... It's really difficult to pick bones with it.
Yeah, you can't... You start to kind of want to moan about things, but then in the back of your mind, you're kind of like, I don't feel like I'm worthy of moaning.
Yeah.
And one car that I thought... Now, I think this car is hit and miss. The Kia e-Niro.
Yeah.
I think that car is really good to look at. Like, its design and styling. Some people don't like it, but I really like... When that turned up, I kind of looked at it and went, oh, that's quite futuristic.
I think its sister car, the Kona Electric, made by Hyundai, I think that looks better, but the Kona Electric is quite pricey, and it's not as practical. The boot is smaller, and the rear is quite cramped. So the e-Niro is the better car, in my opinion, and it's cheaper. But I do think the Kona Electric looks better. But design is subjective.
And then just finally, one car which kind of still has a little kind of space in my heart is the first car you had, just because it was so cute and I called it Shrek, didn't I?
The Fiat 500.
Yeah, because it had that weird camo effect, and obviously where we used to work together. Sorry, I won't bore you too much, but I took in the car for Aaron, and I went outside and I was kind of looked at it. I'm not joking, it was cute, but it looked like someone had taken the wing mirrors off another Fiat 500 and stuck them on. It basically had bright green Shrek ears, had a weird kind of, I can't remember the name that Fiat used. It's not like
second
a camouflage, second skin.
I think that's what.
But I think that's always going to have a little space in my heart, because it's the first kind of car you had. But yeah, anyway.
What would you say have been your best experiences? Well, whilst you've been helping me with car obsession.
Oh gosh, I can't remember what happened yesterday, let alone what happened in the years you've done car obsession. I think one of the main ones that stands out is when we had that Mclaren Experience.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that. Simply
because when I turned up, I'm not joking, I should have had a bib, I was drooling. I was just literally, oh my gosh. And this was, I think, wasn't it quite soon after the 720S came out?
No, soonish. Yeah, soonish.
So, obviously, up until that point, I don't think I had been in a supercar with you.
Yes, you had been at SMMT.
But, okay, so the McLaren Experience was definitely one of them. We went out in a 720, sorry, not 720, it's a 570S, didn't we?
Yeah, 570S Spider.
Yeah. So, can you two be quiet, please? Yeah, so the McLaren Experience was one of them. The first regional SMMT test day. Like, because...
God, blimey, now you're going back. This is going back to 2016.
But, sorry guys, if you can hear that, the two cats are deciding it's the appropriate time to climb in and out of boxes.
And they're kind of play fighting inside a box.
In a box.
Like you do.
So, if you hear play fighting cats or a cat fly across the screen in midair, it's because they're play fighting. Or if you hear a squeak, I haven't got a mouse, it's the cats. First SMMT test day, simply because I wouldn't say it was overwhelming in a bad way, but just going there and seeing all the manufacturers and the cars that they had there, I mean, I think I was just getting into kind of photography at that point, and for me it was kind of, wow, it was not a surreal experience, but it was just kind of an honour to be able to be in that environment.
Yeah.
What's the other one? I'm trying to pick a top 3. There's quite a few.
Yeah.
So I've got the Mclaren Experience, the SMMT test day. Some people may be thinking, well, what about all the international launches? But I don't go with Aaron to them. I very rarely get invited.
And to be pedantic, I've only been on one international launch, so you can't use a plural. But whenever I get invited to the UK launches of cars, I normally get put up in a hotel. I get wined and dined, that kind of thing. But obviously, you know, when we do go out in cars, we are under the legal limit, and they actually breathalyse you the morning after to make sure that you're fit to drive, which is obviously sensible. But on those kind of things, I get invited, but Patsy sadly can't come with me.
Wouldn't be much use anyway, because I can't drive. No,
but you could help out with filming. So whenever I've been invited to UK launches, such as the Swift Sport, I think I got invited to. My first ever one was actually the Seat Ateca, which wasn't that long after I started Car Obsession on YouTube. Yes. The Ateca, the Insignia, there's quite a few cars that I've had the privilege to be invited to the UK launch for, and I got invited to the international launch of the Nissan Micra. But all of those trips, Patsy couldn't come with me because the manufacturers will pay for me because I'm reviewing the cars, whereas Patsy is merely supporting.
I have thought of my kind of third one.
Go on.
So I don't know if we had Monique, the RMX5, for too long. But when we went to the MX5 event and we took Monique along, it was was it at a hotel? Was it?
What, you mean Mazda's on the Mud?
No, the actual Mazda event where they had all the Mazdas lined up and you took out the RF. Remember? It was kind of.
God, yeah, I forgot you came with me for that. Yeah. Yes.
Because it was kind of in a really nice. No, it wasn't a hotel. I don't think it was a really beautiful venue.
It was a hotel. It's a hotel which I don't think is that far away from here actually. But I can't think what the name is.
We took Monique. We turned up in Monique. There's all these MX5s lined up. There wasn't any Mark 1s there. Well, it was Monique, but she got quite a bit of attention.
Yeah.
Because obviously we turned up in the Mark 1 MX5. I think it was wasn't it for the RFs? Because they had quite a few MX5s there, but obviously there was only Mark 4s. I think was there.
No, only Mark 4s.
So that was enjoyable seeing the attention she got. But obviously turning up there, it may not have been like a really big event. It may have just been one car. But that was quite enjoyable because obviously we turned up in a Mark 1.
It wasn't just the MX-5s they had though. They had the rest of the Mazda range.
But what I was about to say is we turned up in the Mark 1, then going into like the latest Mark 4, being able to experience the difference.
Yeah.
And how the car is weirdly, it's progressed so much, but it's still the Mark 1 in its heart. If that makes sense.
The Mark 4 has still got the original ethos of the MX-5.
There's so many that I've probably forgotten, but those are the top 3 that come to mind.
Yeah. And a bit of a weird question to ask you. It's not one I've really kind of thought about asking.
I don't like this.
No, but when I started Car Obsession, where did you think it was going to go? Honestly.
I don't know if I want to answer it.
No, be honest.
Okay, for viewers watching, this is probably going to sound like I'm being really mean and horrible, but Aaron knows that sometimes when I say things, it can come across horrible, but it's not meant to be. So I just want to put that out there. I thought... Oh, I don't even want to say it.
Just say it.
I thought that you would compare yourself a lot to others, and because you wouldn't get far enough in a short space of time that you could give up. I thought this was a short-term thing that you would have got pushback after pushback and not getting anywhere, that you'd have just thought, well, this isn't worth my time.
Yeah.
Now that sounds really horrible, but I don't mean it like that.
I don't think it sounds horrible.
You're just
being
honestly
honest.
thought, like, I would support you in your decisions, and I've supported you when you said, oh, I want to kind of start a carb session on the website, and then I want to start YouTube. I was just hesitant in the sense that I didn't want you to put in a lot of hard work, feel like you were getting nowhere, then give up. So I thought maybe a couple of months, a year max, and then you'd have been like, oh, I'm not really getting anywhere with this. I'm just going to stop. But I mean, I've been proved wrong. But I did kind of think that you were getting into something that maybe would have more knockbacks, like more negatives than positives, and I was just concerned that would have affected you.
Yeah. But
I've been proved wrong.
But yeah, it is really difficult to begin with, and this is something I've spoken about quite a few times before. So I'm not gonna trace over old ground, so to speak. But when you do start out a car YouTube channel, particularly if you want to do reviews, it's very difficult to get access to cars. But yeah, that's something I've spoken about before. So I don't want to kind of
no, that's fine. I mean, I would say it's a weird one, because it has been hard on me at times seeing you get knocked back and seeing how it's affected you. Or it's very different now, because obviously you've built up rapport with certain brands.
Yeah.
And it was difficult the first couple of times where I've seen obviously negative comments on videos, and it's very hard for me not to just turn into like a keyboard warrior and just start replying to every horrible comment, because for me, I can see the effect it used to have on you. And I say used to because now you just ignore them, or 9 times out of 10 people want a reply, and when they see that you reply but not in a responsive way, they back off. So for me, I'd say I was a bit too protective to begin with, because I don't want anyone upsetting you, and for me to sometimes hold back and not lay into them is hard.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, you've got like a lot more support around you.
Yeah.
To let one person maybe say a comment and that affect you, it's really good to see now that you just brush it off.
Yeah.
So I actually think you doing car obsession has made you stronger, like mentally, because now you're kind of like, oh, stupid comment, just forget about it.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I hope you don't mind me saying this, and sometimes I don't think you realise it, but a horrible comment would have affected you for days. But I like how car obsession has made you stronger and more confident.
Yeah. I think that's quite a nice note to finish on, actually. I know we've been speaking for quite some time. It doesn't feel like it only feels like we've been speaking for 5 minutes.
How long have we been talking?
About 24 minutes, I think.
That's enough.
About 25 minutes.
It's time for my nap now. I'm tired.
So yeah, we're going to wrap things up now. One thing I would like to do as another episode of Vlogdown is a Q&A, but a chance for you to ask Patsy questions as well as me.
Be nice.
So that probably won't be the next episode of Vlogdown, because I've already got a topic in mind for the next episode. But yeah, I would like to do a Q&A with Patsy, and ideally I'd want most of the questions to be for my better half.
I like the sound of that. That's quite a clever idea.
So if you have any questions you'd like to ask Patsy specifically, please drop them in the comment section below, or you can DM me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, that kind of thing.
Please don't make them too technical, because as much as I love cars, I'm not that technically minded. So but feel free to ask. I say ask anything, but feel free to ask, you know, anything in regards to like what I do to help Aaron on car obsession, or it can be anything, like what are my favourite cars or anything like that.
Yeah.
Anything car related, please feel free to ask. And
It could also be photography related though, because you do dabble in a bit of car photography.
Yeah, I mean anything car related. Feel free to ask, and we'll try and get through as many questions as possible. I mean, if we get loads, we may do it over 1 or 2 videos, because I don't really want to not answer someone's question.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of person.
That's fair enough.
So if we get, you know, a fair few, we may do it in 2 sections. But yeah, no, I really like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me, darling.
That's all right. Can I have my cup of tea now?
You can have a cup of tea, of course you can have a cup of tea. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, as always guys, please like, subscribe and click the bell so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.
High five.
Yeah.